Hi everybody, here's another video from Angie's Inspirations. Well, it's taken me a couple of days to figure out how to do this video exactly. And I actually tried to upload another version of it the other day, but YouTube was having issues and I couldn't upload the video for some reason. So I'm hoping I have better luck with this one. So the topic that I want to talk to you about right now is my experience as a child in the public school system. Now, some of this is going to be kind of negative, some of it is going to be positive, but it's a very personal story, and it's one that I wanted to share with you because my intent for my channel is to help people and inspire people and to let you know that there are other people going through the same things that you are, so you're not alone. And the whole intent of this channel when I started was to help provide inspiration and support to people, and just to get my story out there and have it help just one or a few people would have been a bonus. So the reason why I want to talk to you about my experiences in the public school system is because my experience was quite unique. And the reason for that is because myself and my parents, we fought back when things weren't exactly working out the way they should have worked out. So, settle in. You might want to grab a box of tissues, because every time I tell this story, I kind of get emotional. I'm gonna do my best not to get emotional with this video, but it's something that's really hard for me to talk about, so I very well could get emotional. So here goes. So when I started kindergarten, I was put in a regular classroom with mainstream kindergartners, and I was the only child with a disability in that classroom. Now, I went up to grade 7 in a regular classroom, and I was having assistance in the classroom from a student assistant. Well, actually, no, not in the classroom as per se, but the student assistant would help me write exams. So I didn't really need her in the classroom. I needed her to do the writing part of the exam for me. So what she would do is she would write exactly what I said on the paper to answer the question. So she would write it word for word. And part of the reason why I needed someone to write my responses is because I don't have the hand coordination to write properly, and I don't have the ability to write very fast. So this was the school board's answer. And it was working really well. Up until the end of grade 7, which is when, they suggested to myself and my parents that I could skip grade 8 because I was doing really well. And they were impressed with my marks and impressed with my performance in the classroom and my class participation, and they were impressed with myself as a student. And they said that they were impressed with my ability to understand things and to comprehend them and to be able to speak up when I didn't understand something and ask for help. So we thought this is great. It's a really good thing. They want me to skip a grade, and I kind of thought about it for a while, thought it would be hard, but I wanted to give it a shot, and so we agreed. And the explanation that we were given at the beginning, when this idea was first proposed to us, as time went on over the course of the summer, both myself and my parents thought, well, geez, that's an odd, response to why they wanted me to skip a grade, or thought I was capable of skipping a grade. And it wasn't so much that it was an odd response, it was just a very detailed response, and we felt that it was too detailed, and therefore we felt there was something very fishy about it. So I had to change schools because my junior high only went up to grade 8, and I ended up changing schools to the school where I attended high school. So that was actually the last time I changed schools. The school where I changed to for grade 9 was where I ended up graduating from high school. So that was a good thing. But here's where things get kind of strange. So I walk into grade 9, and I'm a little bit nervous. I kind of told the truth because I'm about to skip a grade. So it's a little bit mind-boggling for me. And I actually ended up needing a math tutor for 2 years after that. So for grade 9 and 10, I needed a math tutor. Because it was just difficult without the foundation of the grade 8 math. But I got through it okay, and it was fine. But here's the weird part, okay? And here's what made us real angry. Okay, so I walk into this classroom, and I got to see all these people who are like a year ahead of me in terms of like age and grade level, really, because they just completed grade 8, and I just completed grade 7. So, I was told when I walked in that classroom that I had to go to a different classroom. And I honestly did not know what that meant at the time, but I didn't argue because I didn't feel like I had the know-how to argue, because I didn't know what kind of classroom they were sending me to. So I walk into this other classroom, and there's all these other kids there that have disabilities, and it's a segregated classroom. And they have me sit down, and they have me do all this work for this day, and like, it's work that it is really far below my grade level. So I'm starting to question, like, what in the world is going on here? Like, why is this happening? And why are you doing this to me? And I was told that I was skipping a grade. This is not skipping a grade. This is going backwards. So I was really confused and frustrated and angry. I wasn't really given an answer to my questions, and so I went home that day, and I was so upset, and I talked to my parents about it, and we cried about it, and my dad went to the school, and he talked to the principal about it, and the school board, and they had said that it was the norm for a child with a disability to be put into segregated classroom, and they didn't understand why it hadn't happened to me up to this point. And my dad had said to them, listen, she's doing well in a regular classroom. Why would you put her in a segregated classroom? This is not right. So he was really, really angry on my behalf, and he was also sad. And no one should have to fight for a right to education in this way. And this is what made my parents so angry, and what made me so angry. So we fought and fought and fought, and finally the school board agreed to put me into the regular classroom. And I was put in the regular classroom, and I was closely monitored by the school board, to the extent that they wanted meetings with myself, my parents, and my teachers every 3 months, and the principal of the school, to make sure that I was making appropriate and regular progress in my classroom setting. And so this is what happened, and this was happening all the way up through high school, up until grade 11, when they finally said, okay, you've proven yourself, you're getting good grades, we can finally leave it alone now, and you'll be fine. And we're happy with your results, that you're paying attention in class, able to understand things, able to comprehend things. I just needed someone to write for me. And so I guess they finally realized that they could not fault me for that. So around the middle of grade 11, they finally stopped having these meetings, and we were all pretty happy about the fact that they stopped having these meetings with us. I mean, to me and my parents, the meetings were kind of a waste of time. In one sense. In another sense, they were not a waste of time, though, because we had to prove to them that I could handle the workload. So in that sense, they weren't a waste of time, and I was only too glad to show them what I was capable of. So, and that's not saying that I wasn't angry, because I was. I mean, there was no other kid in my high school that had to go through this bullshit. So, yeah. It was a pretty unique experience, I gotta say. And I should tell you that the way that I got around, like, taking notes in class was that I would borrow someone's notebook. Like, I had assigned people in my classroom who would lend me their notebook, and I would take their notebook to the office and have it photocopied, have that day's notes photocopied, and then staple them into my exercise, and that's how I would get my notes. So, that worked really well, and that was a perfect solution. The photocopying notes and the student assistant, coming into exams with me to help write my answers out for me, that helped me a lot, and that was what got me through high school. That and my dad, oh my goodness, I can't tell you the hours that my dad spent with me, writing out homework assignments, at home for me, and he would sit there and write word for word what I was saying. So, thank you, Dad, so much. I truly appreciate everything that you've done to help me. And I realize that I owe my education in a big way to my dad, and I'm forever grateful to him for that, and I'll love him forever. And it's just an amazing, selfless thing that he did for me. And if he was here right now, I'd give him a big hug. Unfortunately, my dad passed away back in 1999, and I don't know. I just hope that he knew how grateful I was for him and how much I loved him, 'cause he really did make a difference in my life, and I love you for that, Dad. The reason why Dad ended up having to write out my homework assignments is because back then there was no, text-to-speech technology that would allow me to write out my homework assignments by speaking into the computer or another device. So I was really grateful to my dad for everything that he did for me. And again, thank you so much for that, Dad. Love you to pieces, and don't know what I would have done without you. After high school, I got accepted into the Wesleyan College journalism program. Wesleyan College was in Stephenville at the time, and I lived in Corner Brook, so that would have meant that I would have had to commute back and forth between school and home each day, and we did explore the possibility of me staying in residence, but the residence part of the school was not accessible, and that's why I couldn't stay in residence. And as it turns out, and this really kind of rots the proverbial core, I guess, but as it turned out, there was a portion of the journalism classrooms that were not accessible. So I couldn't complete the journalism program at Wesleyan, and I was real sad and real pissed off, to be honest, for a while. And I didn't know where my life was gonna go at that point, because I really, really wanted to be a journalist. That was my dream. And so I decided to apply to Memorial, and I ended up coming down to St. John's to do business at MUN, and I did business at MUN. I also did early childhood education and medical legal secretary. So I'm very educated. And I have a really good educational background, and I'm proud of my education. I had to fight for my education during the early years, but I have to say, like, when I was in university, when I was doing my early childhood, and when I was doing my medical legal secretary, no one really treated me any different back then. Except, well, actually, yes, someone did, and that's a whole other story, but I fought that too, and I ended up getting my early childhood education, and, well, no, you know what, I'll tell you that story now too. I'll make it part of this video. So, I did my early childhood education at the Newfoundland Career Academy, and Newfoundland Career Academy is closed down now, but the owner of Newfoundland Career Academy at the time had some concerns about whether I would be able to complete the program. And she was a very condescending, cocky individual, and she didn't have a lot of respect for other people. So, I was eating lunch one day in the cafeteria, and all of a sudden this person comes up behind me, and I don't even know who the heck it is, okay? And they take me, and at the time, I was not in a power chair. I was in a manual chair, and I was basically scared out of my wits, and I kept saying to the person, "Who are you and where are you taking me?" And they didn't answer me, and I ended up going to Lorraine Lush's office, and she told me that I couldn't do the early childhood. And I was like, why? Like, what is... Yeah. So she tried to push me out of the early childhood and offered, like, for me to do other courses, and I wanted to do early childhood. So I fought it. I wanted to stay in the program, and I ended up staying in the program and completing it. And I'm glad that I fought it. I ended up getting a bunch of students who were in the program with me to rally behind me, and they all had faith in me. And she even had made insinuations that I would not be able to care for my own children if I ever had them. And this was an unfair insinuation, because I can care for my children. I do care for my children. My children are almost grown now. Well, one of my daughters is almost 19 years old, but the point of the story is, and the moral of the story is, I can care for my children. And I did, and I do. So, and no one else took care of my children when they were little. I did it. And, for someone to make that insinuation that I wouldn't be capable of doing a course because of my disability, and I wouldn't be capable of taking care of children because of my disability, she didn't have the right to make that insinuation, and she should never have said that. Because all she did was anger me and give me a fuel. She fired up a fuel inside me that made me want to prove that I could do it. And I was right and she was wrong. And so, yeah. And I ended up, like I said, getting my early childhood and completing it successfully. And I went on to, after the journalism program, I ended up getting my business degree, my early childhood, and my medical legal secretary. So I proved her completely wrong. I proved the school board wrong. I overcame a lot in terms of barriers that were placed in my way by other people. When it came to education, and I feel like I have a lot to be proud of. And I feel like I've accomplished a lot. Anyways, guys, that's it for today. For the video today. Like, share, subscribe, let me know what you think. Bye for now, and I'll see you next time. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Bye-bye.